once she did, obviously, the ride we got there, I got it, but it was so close that I don't really want to jinx myself.
Tell me, you had to go 5 wide. Did you think that was going to cost you?
Well, actually, the winner was right next. I mean, the horse that was second was right next to me, so I just wanted to catch up to that horse that opened up 2 lengths in the 8 pole. And I was like, that's going to be hard to get, but she put a good effort to get there on time.
This has been a horse that's meant so much to you. You've made a lot of changes.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I mean, this horse has been around already for a couple of years now. I love her. I mean, she has her quirks and everything else, but she's been so good to us, and I'm glad that she got it done.
Think she has more in her too?
And she did. I mean, this time she galloped out really well. Whatever it was, because the other horse was galloping next to her, she kept going too.
You can't make a lead too soon with her, but I told Johnny that's timing it a little too close for my liking. But, no, I mean, I could see she had a head of steam built up, and she was motoring down the middle of the track, and I was just hoping she had enough time to get there.
And you put blinkers on her a few starts back. As you mentioned, she's always run a race, never been worse than second. But what made you make that decision kind of later on and now in your race career?
It's something that we've actually been thinking of since her 2-year-old year, because she's a very curious filly. She sees everything, and she has that tendency to wait when she makes the lead. Meanwhile, she's reeling off win after win after win, and you're like, it's difficult to make an equipment change. But really, the defining moment was in the Ogden Phipps when Johnny came back and he said, and it was hard to really make out watching it. I guess he sensed it being on her back, that just before the wire she saw something and just kind of tapped on the brakes and got beat a nose. And he said, I think we got to do it. And so we did, and the first start didn't work out, but that was a tricky day at Saratoga. It was wicked hot, and I've never seen her behave that way in the paddock. And I think she was just bothered by the hot weather. She was very irritated, and she didn't run a race that day at all. But we were confident enough that we were making the right decision, and we stayed with the equipment change.
Gregory Clarke representing Shadwell stable. This filly, obviously last year's champion, an incredible year she's had this year. What do we look forward to from Malathaat?
Wouldn't it be lovely if she stayed in training?
I don't think the guy next to you would argue.
No, he'd love that. But I mean, what she's accomplished is just incredible, and we're just so blessed that we've gotten this far with her. But she's at her top of her game, and see what Sheikha Hissa and the family want to do. But she's a machine. She really is. So we're over the moon.
And that incredible pedigree that she has, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, she's going to be an incredible broodmare for Sheikha Hissa and the family. There's no question.
All right. Question.
As the 3 were coming down the stretch, did you think you had won when they crossed the wire?
To be honest, where I was positioned, I thought we won, and then every time I watched the replay, it seemed like it got closer and closer and closer. So. The cameraman was focused on her on the gallop out, and usually they're right. So I mean, I thought she had won, but I wasn't 1,000,000% sure.
I was very weary. I thought, just like Todd said, I thought she had won, but then they kept on replaying it, and I was like, oh my gosh. But it was great.
And one last one with Todd. Is it a little bittersweet with Ness finishing 4th? I mean, you had 2 of the two from a lot of people's standpoint in this race, and one of them was going to have to lose.
Yeah, I mean that's the situation they're in when you run more than one horse in a race. So nothing worked out well for Ness today. She didn't jump well from the start. She was spinning her wheels around the first turn, and she was very wide all the way around. Because she wasn't really in the position we wanted to be, Irad had to make a little bit of a move sooner than he wanted to, and very wide while doing it. It just, I was concerned when they hit the first turn that it wasn't going her way today. He was very excited, obviously, and I was just kidding him. I said, don't cut those so close. I'm too old for those type of finishes these days. And but he showed why he's one of the greatest of all time. He's a big time performer. When it's the biggest prize, he shows up with a brilliant ride.
Congratulations, Shadwell Stable, Todd Pletcher down below.